Yo, what's good, Dark and Darker gamers? Look, I just played Arena all weekend long. I had nothing to do. I pretty much played it all day, all weekend, and holy, I got some opinions. So, I'll start by saying I played a bunch of different classes. I played Warlock, I played Ranger, I played Fighter, I played Rogue, and I played Bard. I played all of them to about 2K rating, so I didn't go super high on any of them, but I got like a good feel for where they sit, and obviously I fought a bunch of people through that. So I just wanted to put a little bit of an early season tier list for Arena so we can think about what we want to play going forward, just how to approach the game. And as I rate every class, I'll talk a little bit about like what I think the best build is for that class. So yeah, man, let's get it started. So I'm gonna start off with Fighter. I think Fighter is one of those weird ones to rate because there's so many different builds to play. I think probably like one of the best builds right now is just wearing almost full plate, and you got like a falchion or a arming sword and your heater shield. I think it's a really strong class always. There's the Demon's Glee build, which I don't think is the best way to play it. There's Slayer, which obviously does insane damage, but I don't think in like a trios or an arena setting it's that amazing because you die so fast. But with all that being said, I think Fighter is in the middle of the road. It's really good, super viable. I think there's a couple other melee classes that shine and perform a little bit better than Fighter, so I'm going to put it right there in B. So I'm going to talk about Barbarian. I think Barbarian, I mean, it's always been an amazing class. There's been times where it was super meta in solos, but maybe not in trios. But right now, man, I think Barbarian is absolutely insane. I'd rather have a Barbarian on my arena team than a Fighter all day. The club with the round shield is just too OP, man. You got the armor penetration on your weapon. It's gonna box out a fighter almost every time, unless the fighter's like super crazy skilled at blocking. So yeah, especially in arena, I'm always happy to see a Barbarian on my team. And yeah, they hold the line really well. They do big boy damage. They absolutely destroy squishy classes. They get insane movement speed at the press of a button, and a lot of their abilities are viable now. So yeah, I feel comfortable putting Barbarian there in A. Rogue. Well, we saw a lot of changes to Rogue. Well, not a lot, but we saw some buffs to perks, and daggers overall are pretty good right now. The new dagger mastery adjustment, all rogues get an additional 1 true damage on their daggers and an extra 5% damage, I think. I know they got the 1 true, but yeah. Rogues are really good. They shut down caster classes. They can even blow up some heavy armored classes with the buff to thrust. But they're very squishy. You'll lose fast to a wizard, ranger, sorcerer, warlock if you don't get the jump on them. But still, the damage they're doing is absolutely insane. Double jump is absolutely insane. Hide is absolutely insane. That's why I can't put them anywhere else but A. But I will say, Rogue is not the easiest class to play in Arena. You will die almost instantly if you play bad. If you are not really good at this class, it goes down to D. Absolutely useless. But I'm rating these classes in sort of kind of their best use case. So there's certain comps where Rogue could not be that amazing in terms of your teammates and what you're facing. But I'm sure most of you guys will agree the damage Rogue is doing is absolutely bonkers. So I feel pretty good about putting them in A. So I just did some adjusting to the tiers because we're about to get into a crazy territory where I needed more of a range to rate these classes, okay? So we're getting into Ranger here, all right? Rangers go straight up to S plus tier. This is going to be the Ranger tier. Now, if you have played Arena, this class is absolutely busted. And they got the addition of the Purge Shot perk this season. Purge Shot is absolutely crazy. This class is off the charts. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't think there's any class that is as versatile and strong as Ranger. It is just, you play longbow, you run Purge Shot. There's so many viable abilities. You got Quick Shot, you got Multi-Shot, Backstep. Even the rations got buffed. Like, this class, you cannot go wrong building this class. It does require a little bit of skill, okay? But at the same time, it's easier than some of the other classes that I also think are really good, like Rogue. Rogue can kill people faster sometimes than a Ranger if they can open up on them. But dude, Ranger, like, I've been playing a lot of Ranger. You'll consistently have double the damage of your teammates if they're not playing Ranger. It's absolutely insane. I think that's enough said there. Ranger is absolutely insane. The addition of Purge Shot is so strong. It completely nullifies Bard. A lot of buffs that come from these other classes are just non-existent when you hit them once on Ranger. It's insane. I highly recommend playing Ranger. I think it's the best class in Arena right now. Yeah. Next, we're going to talk about Wizard. I'm putting Wizard right in S tier. I think this class can demolish a Ranger if they miss their shots. This class is it's right there with Ranger, but I had to put Ranger just one step above because of Purge Shot. The fact that they don't have to sit to get their spells back, or to get their damage back, you know, because they have arrows, and arrows got buffed, so you stack more. Wizard is just crazy, man. Crazy. They throw two fireballs, you are dead on most classes. Explosions, insane. Magic missiles, insane. Zap, frostbolt, or ice bolt. Wizard's just absolutely crazy. I think we're seeing a theme here already with this tier list, that ranged damage is just crazy. It needs more nerfs, in my opinion. But yeah, I feel comfortable about putting the Wizard right there in S tier. It's really close behind Ranger. I put it like right there, but it's the added utility of Purge Shot, not having to sit. You just spam longbow shots all game. I think I'm putting Ranger just a little bit higher, and it's close, man. It's only like a 5% difference in my opinion. But there's certain classes like a full plate fighter where a Wizard would just rip them apart quicker than a Ranger would. So yeah, we're gonna move on. Now we're talking about Cleric. I think Cleric, Cleric, there's a couple different ways to play it. Personally, like, you can play Smite, Divine Protection, and go frontline. You do insane damage, you're insanely tanky. But my problem with that is that your uptime is kind of short. So, like, you could go in there and absolutely demolish a fighter or a barbarian or something, or a rogue, and then after that your buff runs out and you got two more guys to fight, and then you're just kind of screwed. So I think when all your abilities are up, this class is crazy, like in the Ranger tier, if you play Smite DP. But I think it kind of falls off just because it has a low uptime. We're playing in trios, so I'm not going to put it there. I've seen some crazy caster Cleric builds this season. People are healing, they're doing crazy damage with Holy Strike. It's insane, and that's why I feel comfortable putting Cleric right up there in S tier. And that's strictly a good player on a healing / caster build with true magical damage, high will, maybe even like the Great Helm, the Knowledge Plate Helmet. I don't know if that's what it's called exactly. Cleric is just insane. I'm always happy to see a caster Cleric on my team. Their abilities are amazing, their buffs are amazing. They got the buff to their perk Requiem, so they can resurrect people a lot faster with HP, so they're not just one shot. Yeah, Cleric's insane. It just got buffed. Like, it's always been good. And yeah, I just think Cleric is absolutely insane right now. Go play it. Be that guy that everybody loves. Everyone's gonna say thank you. They're gonna be so happy that you're on their team. When you heal them, you throw that Holy Strike out, man. God dang. Locust Swarm. Oof. That shit is crazy. Now we're gonna talk about Bard. Bard. Now, I think there's only like one way to play Bard right now. I've seen a couple Bards where they go double crossbow, and then they have reinforced instruments, and they pull out the loot and bonk you with it when you're close. Now, I think Bard could be strong, but the existence of Ranger completely nullifies this class. One shot, one of your buffs are gone. And on your teammates, the Rousing Rhythms is gone instantly. I just think Bard is not worth playing in Arena this season. I'm going to put it right down there in C tier. I think if you're really good at the game, you can, like, I think you can make this work. But it could be a comp issue sometimes, you know. Like, you kind of have lower magic resist than most classes. Other classes are better at dealing range damage with bows and crossbows. Your buffs get removed instantly by rangers. I think this, like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say Bard needs a buff, because I think it's really strong, especially in solos. But it's in terms of the arena, the way it's set up. I'm not a huge fan of it. You can fight me in the comments. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Bard right now in arena. Because I've seen a couple players do really good and kick ass. But at the same time, I'm not feeling it, man. Every time I fight one, I shoot him once. I shoot a couple times, all their buffs are gone. I think other classes are stronger in melee. Shriek is really strong. I just think the support capabilities of this class went down a lot, just with there being a bunch of rangers in the game with Purge Shot. So yeah, I'm going to put it down there. And throughout this, I might adjust these a little bit at the end. But we're going to talk about Warlock now. Man, Warlock's insane right now. They had some things like change, you know, with what is it, Shadow Touch, where your true magical damage, it does shadow damage now, so you can't use Soul Collector with it, which doesn't really matter for Arena because nobody's running Soul Collector in Arena. It's not really good. But man, the Dark Reflection buff, the Malice buff, I just think Warlock is really strong right now, and I think the damage is so high from casting one curse on someone like a fighter, a rogue, completely canceling their invis for a period of time, hitting a ranger with it. It's just disgusting, man. It's so annoying fighting a Warlock. Like, mainly like TM caster Warlock. And then they also got the Chris Dagger with their ball. So if you go in on them, they're actually going to do some damage in melee, even with like a full caster build. So that's why I gotta say, with all the buffs, good damage, good utility and escape with Phantomize, or you could run Blow Corruption and do more damage that scales with all your will and your Crystal Ball. I really want to put it in S tier, but I think it is just a slight bit under Cleric and Wizard. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, but this is kind of where I'm at currently with the ratings. Very close to being an S tier. Always happy to have a Warlock on my team. They kind of have more of a solo type playstyle. Although, you know, they can curse a weakness people and make the matchup better for you in melee. I think Warlock's insane. One of the best units for Arena right now. Druid. Well. My arch nemesis in the dungeon is an absolute joke in Arena. Now look, I just think all transformation Druid is just not good in a trio setting. That's just my opinion. I think a lot of people might agree. Panther's unplayable. You get one shot by their teammates. If anyone's peeling for somebody, you know, if you try to go on a wizard and there's a barbarian or a rogue next to them, you're just dead. You get hit 2 or 3 times and Panther, it's over. So bear is kind of strong, but it's just so easy to walk away from the bear, just ignore them, kill the teammates, and then but I will say there is still the possibility of you running a healer build on Druid, which it honestly makes me want to take them up a tier, but I just don't want to put them next to fighter, man. They're just not as good as a fighter, and I don't think it's better than Bard. So it may seem kind of harsh, but I think it's just one of the worst classes to play in Arena right now. That's kind of my opinion. Yeah, let me know if you guys disagree, but that's kind of what I'm thinking with Druid. Now, the last class we're going to talk about is Sorcerer here. Well, it's insane. Sorcerer is absolutely insane. I think it's more difficult to play than a Wizard or a Ranger. So less often will you fight somebody that's really good at this class. But like I said in this video, I'm talking about the high-end people who are playing the game well. I gotta put Sorcerer high, man. It's gotta be at the top of A tier or the bottom of S tier. This class is insane. The damage is insane. The utility is insane. It's very squishy. They don't have like the like a wizard could just kill you so fast with a couple fireballs, even if they miss. They still splash you. Sorcerer, you know, they have Wall of Flame, but it's harder for them to just instantly blow you up unless they hit a really good elemental bolt right in the head. I think this class is much harder to play than a wizard, but if you play well, it can be right there, right next to it. But I gotta put it slightly lower because of it's difficult. It's harder to play. It's just harder to play. I think at the highest level, it's right up here. But you know, I don't know. I know I said I'm ranking at the high end. I think this feels like a safe place to put it for me. And now maybe we'll do a little bit of shifting around based on what we have here. It's a shame to see Fighter down there. I feel like Fighter is really strong, but I feel like, I mean, like, it is B tier. It's not bad. It's just kind of average. These other classes just kind of shine a little bit more. I mean, Ranger's definitely the best class in Arena, in my opinion. There's this Purge Shot. The damage is too crazy. I wouldn't want to change that. Wizard, it's just so good, man. The damage is so high. It's easy to play. You know, it's not the easiest class to play. Obviously, Barbarian exists. Fighter exists. Ranger exists. All these classes are easier to play than Wizard. But it's not as difficult to play as like a Sorcerer or a Caster Cleric, in my opinion. So I gotta put it up there for its ease of use, extremely high damage, good utility with Ice Bolts, Haste, and Viz. I think I'm gonna leave it there, man. Cleric's just too insane. Just the healing damage is too crazy. I'm thinking I'm feeling pretty good about this. And as you can see, there's a trend here where all the highest rated classes do magic damage or just range damage. It's kind of an issue, man. I think they need to tone down all of these classes' damage. I think Cleric is kind of okay, like in terms of like how it affects the game. Healing is really annoying, especially when you're trying to 1v1 a Barbarian or a Plate Fighter and they're getting pocket healed. It's really annoying, but it feels healthy for the Cleric to be here, in my opinion. Some of these Sorcerers will shoot right up to here if they're really insane at the game. Warlock is insane. I just think the burst damage is lower, and it's a more of a slow burn where you gotta literally burn them over time with your dots. You can go in, but I don't think melee Warlock is the best way to play it currently. I think in the dungeon it can be with 3 stacks of Soul Collector and maybe Dark Reflection. But in the arena, I think you're casting spells, you're trying to drain people down. So yeah, I think Barbarian is the best melee class in arena. I think Rogue is really close right behind it. It's just not as tanky. You're not surviving fireballs and all this shit from these other classes. Fighter's good. It's just not. It's not as good as Barbarian. They got Iron Will, morale boost. Fighter doesn't do that. Second Wind gets hard countered by like Rogue Poison, Blow of Corruption, and obviously morale boost is affected by that as well. But I think against all forms of damage, I think Barbarian's just slightly more tanky. You can get good PDR, good MDR, high HP pools, where a fighter just can't do all 3 of those things at the same time. Bard, you know, I think a good Bard player will make it work, but they're just not going to be as effective as these other classes. I think a big shriek, you know, a good streak of weakness gets off, it can really turn the tide in some of these fights. I almost kind of want to put it up in B tier. I think I might feel good about that. Putting Bard in B tier. I think that feels a little better. at the bottom of B tier. This list, like left to right, does count. You know, I think left is better. And yeah, I put Druid in dead last. You know, Druid's absolutely insane in solos, in the dungeon, even duos. But it's in that trio setting when teammates can peel for each other. I just don't think Druid shines as much. And there is the healing build, which I think can be pretty good. I just think it doesn't match the burst healing of Cleric and the range damage. Dreamfire, Moonfire, whatever it's called, it does not hit as hard as the Cleric spells. So yeah, I think that's my tier list, man. Look, hit me down in the comments. Let me know where I'm wrong. If you agree with me, you know, if you would shift some of these around, let me know what class you're playing. This is my opinion, man. It's early in the season. My opinion can change next week when it opens. But this is just my current opinion on the first couple weeks of Arena. This is how I'm feeling. I'm not playing at 3,000 rating. I'm only like solo queuing right now. I have a couple friends that play the game, but we haven't gotten to play Arena much together already. So I've been mostly like 95% of my gameplay has been solo queuing. So I feel like I'm getting a pretty good read on this. But I think some certain compositions that you could put together can lift up other classes. Like for example, like Barbarians, Fighters could be like at the top with a pocket healer, buffs, things like that. So like a Wizard, Cleric, Barbarian could be one of the most insane comps right now. But if you ask me, I'm thinking Ranger, double Wizard, Ranger. I already said that, but you just want Rangers and Wizards, in my opinion. Maybe a Cleric, maybe a Sorc, maybe a Warlock, maybe a Barbarian. Everything else is kind of, you know, Rogue's damage is insane, but they're just too squishy, man. They go down instantly. But a really good Rogue can play around the field. Yeah, man, that's going to be it. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please hit me with a like, a comment, a subscribe. I really want to hit 30 subscribers. I don't have a lot of subs on this channel. I'm just trying to talk about Dark and Darker, do gameplay videos, just have some fun, man. Share the love. So hit me with the like, comment, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. You guys have a great day, great week. Good luck in the dungeon. Be good to each other, man. Peace. Have a great day.